I'm letting the successful black men out there know that they are coming through you, through your
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you got freaky better.
Because this is freaky.
Yeah, we seen it.
Yeah, Michelle told us.
Yeah.
Michelle told us that he was freaky.
Shannon better be glad that Shannon ain't interviewing Shannon on Club Cheshire. This would be a clear diss towards Shannon's recent assault accusations.
If you say that one more time, I'm gonna choke out of you when I see you.
That he is completely innocent of the allegations that have been levied against him. I can't sit here and speak to his innocence or guilt.
Lights up, timelines on fire. Within 24 white-hot hours, the sports world's slickest talker, Shannon Sharpe, swerved from debate desk deity to trending defendant, and comedian DL Hughley just poured rocket fuel on the blaze.
I thought it got to be too messy, and I said it out loud. I think for a while, Club Cheshire was like Wendy Williams with a weight set. Like,
I saw Stephen A. Smith kind of talking shit.
I done told y'all that this is a shakedown of the highest order. And to be frank with you, I think that the entire legal team, what is his name, Busby? I think that they all need to be investigated.
Allegations, counterpunches, sponsors bolting. The plot twists are juicier than a mid-season trade scandal, and every headline feels like it's wearing brass knuckles.
What is you doing, Unc? You ain't got no business out here with no 20-year-old white girl, with no 20-year-old period. Nothing wrong with being no freak, but be a freak and it makes sense.
What started as whispers in a civil filing has detonated into a full-blown celebrity cage match with reputations, millions, and the very idea of accountability on the line.
What you think she was gonna do? She charging $25K a cheek, and it ain't no cheeks. No cheeks, and she ain't got no lips. She probably whistle when she talk.
Quick heads up for the truth-hungry tribe. Smash that like and hit subscribe if relentless deep dives are your jam. Around here, we unmask PR spin, stack receipts sky high, and keep the chaos organized so you never miss a single eruption. Precisely 3:02 p.m. Eastern, DL Hughley leaned into his gold mesh broadcast mic wearing a Cheshire grin that signaled incoming turbulence.
I know an auntie right now with all ass, all ass 49. Got more dimples than a golf ball. You will love it over there.
What you doing, Unc? He fired, voice dripping equal parts mischief and condemnation. That Hall of Fame jacket can't cover bad plays off the field. 10 words, 1 seismic jolt. Production interns swear the meters on the soundboard surged past safety red. An eyewitness texted that the studio's ceiling panels rattled like cymbals.
My lawyers are telling, the legal team is telling me that we can't authenticate it if he said that, and he's not denying it.
Seconds later, hashtag Shannon Sharpe jackhammered its way to the top trend slot on X, wedged between hashtag elections 2025 and hashtag Bayhive.
You should have knew as soon as she said put a big black baby in her what time it was. She don't even want the baby to grow. She want the baby to come out your size soon as she have it.
The digital chant fractured instantly. Half the timeline waving virtual due process placards, half tweeting memes of Sharpe stiff-arming responsibility like a cornerback in Pop Warner. While blue checkmarks sparred over legal nuance, Hughley breezed onward, rattling off dates and GPS coordinates like a crime scene tech labeling evidence bags. Los Angeles rooftop, June 18, 2016, 11:47 p.m. Velvet rope, second round of Moscow Mules dropping at the bar. Then he pantomimed Sharpe flashing VIP wristbands, quipping that autographs written in invisible ink could never sign away consent.
If the former football star would proceed with legal action if the accuser were to drop her lawsuit. And Sharpe's attorney says he does not know what Sharpe would do in that scenario, but says his recommendation would be to move forward.
The bit was half stand-up, half indictment, and the studio crew nearly dropped their headsets. Screens behind Hughley erupted with a rapid-fire montage of reaction tweets. If Shannon can break down cover 2 in 30 seconds, he can break down 2016 just as fast.
Shannon Sharpe's willingness to pay is not an admission of anything that he did wrong. It was a willingness to pay for the protection of his family and himself.
Another declared, Hall of Shame coming in hot. The comedian didn't miss a beat, rolling into the thin but explosive docket. 2 civil complaints filed 4 hours apart. Same night, same Sky Deck Lounge, same blurry smartphone pics with red Solo cups ringed CSI style.
He's whack though, because he deleted what he was saying. See, that's why it's whack. Don't do that. Don't screenshot shit once you delete yours off the text thread. See, that's the shit I don't like, man.
He read directly from the filings, the legalese slicing through the air like fresh paper cuts. Undue influence, coercive environment, misuse of status. Phrase landed like a cymbal crash, and the comment section ignited with exclamation point volleys.
Sharpe's attorney says his client's accuser is making, quote, a maliciously false claim, and Sharpe's attorney is promising a lawsuit to, quote, hold her accountable.
Hughley capped the segment with a flourish, flipping his cue cards toward the camera like playing cards at a poker table and promising deeper receipts after the break.
He did not mean it. It was in the heat of the moment in the middle of an argument.
You're an asshole, and then I want to marry you.
Social feeds simmered, new posts arriving at 600 a minute. Back at Sharpe headquarters, the temperature plummeted.
I like Shannon Sharpe. He on the phone talking like this.
Aides scrambled to draft a statement that hit the classic beats: false, defamatory, opportunistic. While Sharpe's phone lit up with panicked pings from agents, co-hosts, and a sponsor who just yanked a banner ad off its front page.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, I do see some similarities here to the Justin case. Look, Justin has now, and Johnny Depp to his credit as well.
And yes, the title is accurate. Shannon was requesting his...
The lawyer-crafted response hit inboxes at 5:12 p.m. Eastern, but damage control felt more like foot-dragging. Hughley screenshot the whole release live on air and performed a rhetorical vivisection. Where's the denial of time, the denial of place, the denial of presence? Vagueness is strategy, my people, he scoffed, sipping coffee as if he were sampling mediocre wine. Millions watched that clip before dinner. Meanwhile, Sharpe stayed silent another 8 hours, long enough for a cottage industry of memes to bloom. One gif looped Sharpe juking a fictional subpoena. Another plastered his face onto a Where's Waldo spread titled, Where's Accountability? By sunrise the following morning, the phrase Sharpe silence had become shorthand for celebrity defensiveness. Behind the glitz, corporate America's panic siren blared. Production on the wildly popular podcast Club Cheshire froze. Editors sent apologetic emails to upcoming guests who'd prepared long-form segments. Over at the Primetime Sports Network, where Sharpe co-anchored daily hot takes, a hush descended as executives convened an emergency ethics huddle in a glass-walled conference room nicknamed the Situation Station. Endorsement powerhouse Apex Fit blasted out a terse 3-sentence press release. Indefinite suspension pending clarity. Insurance giant Titan Life followed within the hour. Market analysts projected Sharpe's $10 million sponsorship portfolio could hemorrhage up to 75% if advertisers bailed en masse, evidence that brand inertia now reads like guilt to investors. A down-slope bar chart flashed across cable business channels, dollar signs evaporating like cartoon ghosts. Sharpe's camp pivoted to offense, filing a motion for expedited depositions plus a defamation countersuit aimed squarely at accuser 1. Strategy: sprint to dismissal before sponsors apply the guillotine. Legal commentators on Hughley's afternoon show warned that discovery can be a merciless flashlight. If there's dirt, subpoenas have a nasty habit of unearthing it. Hughley nodded and delivered the pull quote that ricocheted round social media all night. Speed doesn't equal innocence, sometimes it screams panic. That line alone spawned 30,000 retweets and a limited edition hoodie on Etsy. By day 3, receipts started snowballing. Remember those VIP lounge texts? Hughley read them aloud, timestamps and emojis intact. You coming up to the roof? Then a winky face, then a let security know you're with me. He lingered on each line, milking the tension like a master pianist holding a high note. Next came a montage of old undisputed clips in which Sharpe admonished young players for nightclub dust-ups. Same energy, player, Hughley barked, teeing up each flashback with comedic snark. The hypocrisy reel racked up 2 million views in an hour, doubling Hughley's average audience. Commenters crowed that past takes age like milk when you land in the same hot seat. Meanwhile, network brass scrambled for a defensive playbook. They hired a retired federal judge to spearhead an independent review. Press release boasted transparency. Critics quickly noted that independence rings hollow when the network cuts the checks. Hughley's eyebrow shot sky high as he read the announcement and deadpanned. Publish the findings unredacted or miss me with that independent talk. That quip became the pull quote for next morning's op-eds. The NFL itself weighed in with a delicate 2-sentence note pledging cooperation if requested. Translation: they hoped the Inferno stayed off league property but would call the fire department if flames lapped their doorstep. Facing ballooning scrutiny, Sharpe finally resurfaced on air, sort of. He appeared only via pre-recorded 2-minute denial at the top of his show's usual slot, framed by soft lighting and a strategically placed trophy case. He insisted the allegations were a distraction from his mission to uplift communities, then transitioned the broadcast into a greatest debates clip reel that bypassed live Q&A ratings spiked 20% on morbid curiosity alone. Viewers expecting a live grilling ended up watching nostalgia highlights. Hughley leapt on the misfire. If you can't face the music, don't sell tickets to the concert. Memes splicing Sharpe's video with elevator music flooded TikTok. While Sharpe's team fought a rearguard action, women's advocacy groups seized the moment. They staged a digital town hall dissecting athlete misconduct, media responsibility, and survivor support. Surprise guest? DL Hughley live-streamed from his studio in a t-shirt reading Receipts Reputation. He hammered home proposals for mandatory consent training, league finance survivor funds, and third-party investigations for retired athletes who transition into broadcasting. Headlines shifted. The story was no longer just about one ex-tight end. It had morphed into a referendum on power, privilege, and the cost of silence. Week 2 dawned with an ominous wrinkle. Federal investigators confirmed they were monitoring developments due to the interstate nature of certain allegations. Parent company stock dipped 3%. Crisis managers floated the idea of a sit-down interview with a sympathetic investigative journalist, hoping to humanize Sharpe's defense. Hughley laughed on air, swirling a latte. We've all seen the tear-filled redemption tour. Roll credits, fade out, no accountability sequel? Not this time. He predicted any softball interview would crater trust faster than a burner account exposed at midnight. The next blow landed when leaked internal emails revealed sponsors demanding clarity within 48 hours or threatening to pull ad inventory for the entire network family. A backroom equation emerged. Suspend your marquee personality and risk short-term ratings loss, or gamble on legal vindication while hemorrhaging advertiser cash. One spreadsheet predicted a 25% revenue dip if Sharpe remained on air. Another scenario saw a 35% brand equity hit if they cut him loose prematurely. Executives referred to the situation as choosing between a ceiling collapse and a sinkhole. Sharpe's legal squad counterpunched by scheduling a mediation session, the subtext clear. Hush money might stem the public bleed. Hughley poured ice water on that gambit. Confidentiality is a gag order on truth, he barked. If you cut the check to keep it quiet, folks assume you're compensating more than damages, you're paying to bury skeletons. That critique resonated in a culture freshly allergic to sealed settlements. Polls showed 62% of respondents equated out-of-court payouts with implicit guilt. Days later, Sharpe announced he was stepping away from all on-air duties indefinitely, framing the hiatus as a selfless move to protect the integrity of the conversation. Hughley wasn't buying it. Integrity isn't the shield you grab after allegations, it's the armor that prevents them, he shot back, mic dropping so hard social feeds quaked. Quote landed on billboards by breakfast. Meanwhile, networks scrambled to fill the on-air void. A rotating cast of guest analysts took Sharpe's seat, ratings wobbling like a tightrope walker in crosswinds. Advertisers inched back, but only under temporary contracts with escape clauses the size of truck bays. Sharpe's camp sought to reclaim narrative control through philanthropy highlights and glowing testimonials from former teammates. Yet Hughley cited a cultural pivot. Character references used to sway audiences, now they read like nostalgic distractions. What did they actually witness? He asked. Were they in the room? Otherwise, it's noise. His own research team surfaced studies showing juries increasingly discount celebrity character witnesses in misconduct cases. That angle made the evening news. By the end of week 3, the plot resembled a legal labyrinth. Sharpe's defamation countersuit accelerated, while plaintiffs sought to widen discovery parameters to include past disciplinary files from his playing days. Court watchers predicted a high-wire act. Either side could stumble into criminal referrals if new evidence surfaced. A rumor circulated that investigators were combing through email servers for any mention of hush payments or routine VIP access lists. Financial journalists reported Sharpe-affiliated charities making emergency calls to PR consultants asking how to launch reputational firewall campaigns. Crisis agencies pitched seven-figure packages promising data-driven reputation salvage. Inside the storm, DL Hughley's numbers soared. His daily show doubled its usual audience, advertisers queued up for pre-roll slots, and a booker from a late-night talk show begged him to appear. Hughley responded on air. "It ain't about me eating off someone else's pain. It's about refusing to stuff cotton in our ears every time a hero's mask cracks." Critics accused him of clout chasing. Supporters hailed him as a truth sledgehammer. Polarization fueled another metric spike. At one point, Nielsen charts showed more viewers tuning into Hughley's commentary than to some cable news primetime anchors. Sharpe's PR battalion executed one last gambit, leaking word of a potential documentary titled The Truth Route, pitching an exclusive on-camera journey through his legal ordeal. Producers courted streaming platforms with hefty budgets and promises of behind-the-scenes transparency. In a leaked deck, they forecasted a redemption arc culminating in public healing. Hughley reacted with blistering comedic fury. "Your truth route can't be pay-per-view. Truth is either free or it's PR." Social media christened the project the spin route before a single frame was shot. As legal deadlines loomed, media outlets published long-form think pieces analyzing whether comedians like Hughley had become de facto moral barometers, a role once reserved for investigative journalists. Some praised his irreverent scalpel, others warned that humor-chasing clicks could oversimplify nuance. Hughley addressed the critique head-on. "If calling for accountability is exploitation, then charge me double. Silence is complicity, period." That line formed the opening quote in a Sunday magazine cover story about the comedy check on celebrity culture. By month's end, an independent investigator delivered preliminary findings under hush-hush confidentiality. Rumor mills claimed the report flagged multiple inconsistencies in Sharpe's public timeline and recommended extended suspension pending full review. Network executives read the bullet points, swallowed hard, and scheduled a shareholder briefing. In the parallel universe of sports media, ratings data showed audience fatigue. Curiosity spikes were tapering, trust deficits widening. Viewers told pollsters they felt manipulated by highlight reels that sidestepped tough questions. The network considered pivoting to longer investigative segments, sniffing a cultural appetite shift. Sharpe's lawyers fired back by blasting the leak as strategic misinformation. They demanded the investigator be removed and the report sealed pending arbitration. Hughley rolled his eyes live, advising the public to expect another stall tactic. When the play clock hits zero, somebody always blames the scoreboard. The phrase, "blaming the scoreboard," trended for a day, attaching itself to any celebrity statement that seemed to dodge accountability. The climactic twist arrived when an anonymous production assistant from the 2016 after-party stepped forward, filing an affidavit claiming she witnessed supposedly consensual interactions turn uncomfortable. She provided a thumb drive of photos, some already public, others new, plus metadata showing location stamps that aligned with plaintiff timelines. Newsrooms scrambled, experts verified timestamps, and within hours the affidavit dominated headlines. Sponsors that had cautiously returned to advertising pulled their budgets again. Talk took another dip. Sharpe's attorney scheduled an emergency press conference and then abruptly canceled it 16 minutes before go time. Rumors suggested internal conflict over whether to pivot toward settlement or double down on fighting. Through it all, Hughley kept hammering his refrain. Fans are smarter than crisis playbooks give them credit for, receipts beat rhetoric, and accountability doesn't punch a time card just because a beloved personality feels targeted. He reminded listeners how survivors endure years of vilification before truth surfaces, how reputations rebuilt on transparency can rise, but reputations built on obfuscation sink like a stone. His closing monologue on day 40 crystallized the saga. Whether Shannon Sharpe clears his name or falls from grace, the message is stamped in neon. Fame is loud, but facts are louder. And that's where we land tonight. Innocent? Guilty? Courts will wrestle that verdict into daylight. In the meantime, the reputation economy has already spoken. Silence and spin are bankrupt currencies. Keep those alerts on. We'll be right here the second the next receipt drops. Until then, stay curious, stay critical, and remember, fame may flash bright, but truth burns hotter and it never ever switches off. Peace.